Hello, and welcome to another episode of Crossword Radio. This is your enigmatic host, The Brain, and today is Sunday, January 16th, 2022. We're doing the cryptic today, although, spoiler alert, I've already actually solved it. I started to record it, got really stumped. Ultimately, I looked up one answer, and then I was able to use that and kind of break into the rest of the puzzle, and I finished it. Eventually, it was a lot of putting around, not knowing anything, though. I would say that this puzzle is much more difficult than the average New Yorker Cryptic. So, I don't feel too bad about that. So I thought what I'd do is just go through and explain them, because this is it's just such a much more difficult than average puzzle. So, let's see. Let's just do them right in a row. Should I try to do them vaguely in the order that I got them? I think I'll try to do them vaguely in the order that I got them. So this gives up carrying Chief Architect's last wooden box. The answer actually is cedar chest. Whoa. And this is a very tricky one. Well, they're all kind of tricky, like I said, most of them. So gives up is seeds. C-E-D-E-S. Right? You cede control, you cede territory. Gives up. Carrying chief is the next part of this answer. So even though we have arch in the middle here, and it looks like it might come from architect, it doesn't. Chief is what's giving us arch. So like your arch rival, right? Your arch nemesis. They are your chief rival, right? Your primary rival. Arch, that's where that's coming from. And then architect's last is the next part of the cryptic here. And that's just the last word of the word architect. And we get a T there to give us the final letter. So that's kind of tough. You have architect, and because I had seeds and then I was looking at wooden box, I was like, cedar chest, that's kind of how I got in there. But it took me a while to get the real answer. The next one I got was, I believe, this one. After a lot of screwing around, historic ship crossing ocean in April. And it's just crossing is a hidden in the middle indicator here. Probably kind of a tricky one, but it's with only 4 letters. It's not hard to spot those. You can see Nina right in there, as in the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Okay. And then there was a lot of screwing around and the rest of the puzzle. Those are the only 2 I got. And then I looked up this one. Cheaters rewrite Glee essays. I was like, well, it's an anagram of Glee essays. I can see that. Rewrite is a pretty obvious anagram indicator. But I couldn't think of the word. I was like, cheaters, what is it? And it's because they're not talking about, people who cheat, like adulterers or something. They're talking about eyeglasses. But not just that. I mean, even someone who wears eyeglasses every day is, really, this might be an American phrase, I'm not sure. You would call reading glasses cheaters, not like prescription eyeglasses, but reading glasses. You have, what is it? Myopia and hyperopia? I can't remember, but you have nearsightedness and farsightedness, right? But then as you get older, you get what's called presbyopia, where you need just to see very small writing and stuff like that. So that's why people call them cheaters, because they're not really prescriptions. They just help them read small writing. So anyway, these are specifically a very specific kind of eyeglasses that are called cheaters, but I mean, it still works. So from there, I got this one because I thought that it might be cassette, and I filled it in, but I wasn't sure how it worked until I finished the puzzle and got the description. But I filled it in, so it is fixed. If something is fixed, it is set, S-E-T, and that is in a public station, C-A-S-T-E. So when they say a public station, they don't mean like a subway station or something, or a train station. They mean your station in life, right? Your social caste that you are born into, your caste, that kind of station. So very, tricky, very, edge definitions of a lot of these words. And that's, certainly viable. It just means the more edge definitions you pick for your puzzle, the tougher it's going to be. What was the next one I got? I think the next one I got was this one. Subway ticket counter displays metropolitan area. Well, ending in Y, I thought, well, maybe a metropolitan area is a city. And it is. So it is displays is a hidden in the middle indicator here. But with counter, it's actually reverse hidden in the middle indicator. City is backwards in subway ticket. So subway ticket counter displays. And again, that's kind of a tricky reversal indicator there. You're supposed to go backwards. Okay. The next one I got was this one, I believe. It's fearful. Well, T-I and fearful could be timid. Like, but what is turning dark? Turning dark has anything to do with being timid. But what we're doing, so you occasionally have to do this in the other cryptics. This, and like especially like British style cryptics, this comes up all the time, which is one of the reasons it's tough. Is you not only need to know all these very specific British cultural references like locations and people from Britain, but also do the substitution, and sometimes they use very British slang substitution, but in this case we're just substituting dark for dim. So we're turning dark it. Right? So turning is that's not a difficult clue here. It's reversing. That's a pretty easy one. But we're reversing dark it, but we're replacing dark with dim. That's sort of the tricky part, is that we're swapping dark for dim, and we're getting dim it and turned, so reversed, to mean fearful, which is timid. I think this one was the next one I got. Or is it this one? Right, this one was the next one I got because with a word ending I blank G, it's got to be ing, right? And so what is the definition here? Working towards a goal. So, okay. So that could be aspiring, and heard, as in there's a homophone indicator. A group of secret agents is a spy ring. So that's what it's aspiring, right? So aspiring is aspiring. Now, there are really only homophones if you pronounce, certainly heard people pronounce aspire. What I say is aspiring, like aspiring. But I've heard people pronounce it aspiring, where they kind of, glue the R to the ing like that instead of aspiring. I've heard that. That's just not how I say it, but whatever. Once I guessed aspiring, I was like, oh, right, of course, aspiring. All right. And then, no, what was the next one I got? I think this was actually the next one I got here. So, see, I just went to an anagram solving website and put in Glee essays and came out with eyeglasses. That's how I got that. But then once you start getting some letters in there, start getting some confidence a little bit, you're, okay, I get this. So, remove ownerless dog grasping one paw. So, well, an ownerless dog is a stray. That's not a tough definition. And it's grasping, right? So it is holding in the middle of it. So I was like, well, like that. One paw. Now, one is very frequently can just be an I, which we have there, and aspiring. And then paw is right there. So strip away, and then that gives us the answer, remove, which is another way that this puzzle is kind of tricky, because remove can also be sort of a cryptic operator word, right? If you see the word remove or something like that, it might mean to, remove a letter or a piece of a word from another word, right? To give you a letter, a group of letters for a group of letters for your for the cryptic part of the words. All right, remove could not only be obviously a regular word with a definition that we can clue, but also a cryptic operator word. So anyway, then I think I got this one. Display serious TV show around 10. Now I was right that the answer was display, which again I think is used elsewhere in the puzzle as a cryptic operator. I know it's in here somewhere, but whatever. Displays, right? Subway ticket counter displays. So in this case, displays is acting as a cryptic operator, but in this case, it's the definition. So a serious TV show is a drama, and that is around 10. Now, when I first was attempting to record this and getting nowhere, I was like, well, 10 can be substituted for X, and so I was trying to think of a word that meant display that had an X in it. I came up with exhibit, which actually does fit here, but that wasn't the answer. In this case, 10 is I-O, just because the numbers 1, 0 look like an I and an O. So that's why you put that in there. So you get a diorama, which is, again, a very specific type of display. Just like cheaters are a very specific type of eyeglasses, a diorama is a very specific type of display. So that is another thing that kind of makes this puzzle trickier is, you're not thinking of so many different things that a display could be. So then I got this, retro cookware's finish. So this answer's not too bad. It's just stop. It's just easier to see once you have some letters in there, of course. So cookwares. In fact, this is one time where we are including the apostrophe S. And that is pots. And retro just means put it backwards. And you get pots reversed is stop, which means to finish. You finish doing something, you stop doing it. This one is, again, where they use sort of a common cryptic operator word as the definition, in which case it's appears, and the answer is arises. And how was that answer? Right, Aries. So Sunday can just be abbreviated to S, and Aries is a constellation, and around Sunday you get a constellation is Aries, and that finally means appears. Okay. This answer is reap. That's the next one I got, I believe. It's garner street cred taking New York subway train. So street cred is rep, R-E-P. And the New York subway train is just, it's a lot of words to get you a single letter A in there, but that's what it is, the A train. There's that jazz song, you must take the A train to Sugar Hill Highway in Harlem. Anyway, okay, sorry about that. Pause again. Cat jumped on the desk again. Okay. What was the next one I got? I think the next one I got was this one. Gluttons eating double order at a sports bar. Because of that word double, I was trying to think of like a double letter, but that's not what was going on. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. You can look at this answer and see that it's now hot wings. That's order at a sports bar, right? So it's gluttons, which are hogs, and they're eating, as in they're taking inside of them a word for a double, which is a twin, right? Like a doppelganger, your double, your twin. Okay, that's how you get hot wings. What was the next one that I got? I think it was this one. It was this one, I believe. But anyway, the answer here is top brass. It's like undergarments held in place from the back. I mean, that kind of seems like you're talking about bras, right? Bra strap, putting that together. And it is bras. And, right, so it's a little bit tricky. Let me explain. So it is undergarments, bras, are held in, as in put inside of, just like eating, right? It's the same thing. are held in place from the back. So a place is a spot, like just a location, right? A spot from the back, and then is a reversal indicator. So top brass, bras inside of a reversal of a spot. Pretty tricky. I got this one next. That was nurse calling about the end of dangling saline drip. Well, nurse is a caregiver. And I can see this one is one I still don't quite understand. So I get the end of dangling saline drip, as end of dangling is a G. Saline drip is an IV. And that is inside of caring, a carer. So about, right? About can be a surrounding, operator word. But calling does not really mean carer. A nurse could also be described as a carer as well as a caregiver. The nurse's calling is caring, calling. I'm not sure. Word that is really working on. Gina Rodriguez's Ace ending card game. So this is Gina Rodriguez. I didn't know that. I don't know this actress. But a card game is Gin, and then Ace can be abbreviated to A, just like you would see, if you're looking at an Ace card, the only letter on it is an A, so that's acceptable abbreviation. Gin, and then Ace for A gets you Gina for Rodriguez. So this one comes together supporting an MLB team. Well, I was like, an MLB team is the Angels, right? The Los Angeles Angels. And comes together is gels, just like sort of fixed is set, right? Something gels, it kind of congeals, it comes together. And there's supporting an, right? So gels is kind of underneath of it, supporting an, and you get an MLB team, which is the Angels. I think I got this one next. I mean, we're so close to the end, it doesn't matter now. But band breaks up. Well, that is strap is a band, like a rubber band, a strap. That kind of band is what we're talking about. And it's this I also understand. Breaks. Break is a definition for part. I'm not sure, but it's breaks up. So parts up. I just don't quite get breaks for parts. Like, if you break up with your girlfriend, you like part ways with her. Okay, I guess I get it. This then is gravies, clearly, savory sauces, and it's they're put into holes in the ground, which are graves. Again, a grave, another sort of like eyeglasses and diorama. You have a very general word, eyeglasses, to mean a very specific word, like cheaters, or very display to diorama, or in this case, hole in the ground, which could be a pit, or a hole. There's a lot of things it could be, but grave. Okay, and finally, vehicle with bells sounded off. So vehicle with bells is like what Santa would drive, is a sleigh, S-L-E-I-G-H. Sounded is our homophone indicator there. And this is where it's a little tricky. Off is actually our definition, which is, to kill someone, to off them, to slay them. There we go. Yeah, it did not take me 17 minutes when I did it. I think it was closer to like 35 minutes or something insane for a New Yorker cryptic. So there we go. It's just a very tricky cryptic, and that's how it all comes together and works. This is still the only one I'm not quite sure about, right? G plus IV, right? End of dangling and saline drip. But it's around inside of carer. Carer and calling. I don't get that. Caller to caring. Unsure. But there we go. So I will see you tomorrow for the Monday New Yorker. Until then, stay safe out there. Bye.